give us a majority government. So during the day, I had no idea what was going to happen. The ACDP who interviewed their leader early on, I didn't know whether they were in or out because there is no coalition agreement yet. We haven't even signed a formal agreement with the FF Plus yet. So everything up till this afternoon was absolutely uncertain. So I don't know this thing about ganging up. There's no ganging up.
But how do you think you'll be able to govern then without the formal coalition agreement in place if you already say it was so difficult to govern in the last administration with signed on coalition partners?
Look, I can relate to my 12 months experience where I ran a minority government without any issues, and we were able to function normally. I had a 44% vote in council, but we all learned to work together because being placed under administration was not an enjoyable experience.
Right now, are you going for the minority government?
No. Negotiations are continuing. Like I said, we haven't finalized the coalition agreements, but as we put it, our leaders put it, there must be signed coalition agreements, and these coalition agreements must be made public. So we will continue to pursue. And as some in the IEC even state, maybe we must rethink that after election results have been promulgated, that political parties are only given 2 weeks to put coalitions together. You get countries like Germany, they've been running coalition governments since the late 1940s. They don't give their parties 2 weeks. They even give the majority party a month to put the coalition together. And if the majority party can't, they give the second party a chance to put coalitions together. So we still have a long way to go to entertain the impact that going forward in South Africa, because of proportional representation system, we are going to have coalition governments, and we're going to move more and more towards coalition governments, and we need to amend our legislation to make provision for that.
With the last coalition government and this council, the last administration was frequently collapsed by inabilities to form quorums as well as infighting among people who were supposed to be coalition partners or adversaries. Now, with the DA returning to council with a new player, Action SA, and no formal agreement, and the ANC maintaining its view, and the EFF maintaining its view, are you concerned that another series of collapses of council will take place and you won't be able to govern?
Look, I believe here in Tshwane we've learned a lot. Political parties have learned a lot. And the fact is 2016, when we had formal coalition arrangements, that in itself was a minority government that Solly ran. And we had the EFF working with us in terms of an arrangement where they will work with us on a case-by-case basis. So they were never part of a coalition. And that's why we said, going forward, we need to sign firm coalition agreements. But the 2 weeks we had after results have been promulgated simply has not given us enough time to put coalitions together. Despite the fact we've got these results now, where we're able to, in fact, elect mayors and elect the Speaker of Council.
So, Mr. Mayor, sorry, Governor, who are you in conversation with then, within the city of Tshwane and the political parties around coalition governments to ensure that signing takes place soon?
Look, we stated that our door is open. To most of the political parties, our leaders have made the comment they're not prepared to work with the ANC and EFF. But as you've seen here, in this council, we've got 15 parties altogether. So there are 13 other parties, our doors open for them to come and discuss coalition agreements with us.
While those negotiations are underway, there's still no agreement. How long are you going to take before you announce your mayoral committee and the MMCs?
No, it will be probably announced by next week. We have to hit the ground running. The administration currently, there's nothing happening with the executive not being in place. So basically officials are running the city.
And you're hoping to have a multi-party mayoral committee?
Yes, well, that all will depend on the negotiations. And the negotiations are taking place at a national level, not at a regional level.
All right, thank you so much. That is the mayor of Tshwane, the newly elected mayor, Mr. Randall Williams. He was elected unopposed, and he says that he still believes there's hope for negotiations and a coalition government to be formed. That, of course, would depend on the talks, and again, it comes back to whether or not the ANC is talking to Action SA. Herman Mashaba says he's waiting for the call from John Steenhuisen, and he's waiting to hear from some of the other political parties. We were hoping to speak to Khosi Mahepa, but we did speak to Jacob Kawe, the ANC provincial secretary, a little bit earlier. He stated that they didn't field a candidate because they felt that the parties who were voting with each other today, the DA, the EFF, as well as the Freedom Front Plus, ACDP, the DOP, had not formed a proper coalition, and they were ganging up on the Democratic Alliance and saying that's not a coalition of principle, so they don't want to partake in such a process. The fact of the matter is that even if they had fielded a candidate, the DA would have been able to win the election for mayor without the help of the EFF because of the dynamics in the city council. So it was theirs for the taking, and they've taken it. And now it looks like the ANC doesn't want to participate and didn't bother fielding a candidate. We also know that there is division in the ANC council. And there may have been an indication that Frans Boschilo, the candidate for the ANC, wouldn't have secured all the votes from the ANC caucus. That would have been a huge embarrassment for the ANC. Of course, we won't know now, Sally, because they didn't field anyone. And Randall Williams was elected unopposed. For now, it's back to you from the Tshwane Council.
All right, Govan, just one quick question. It does seem from what Randall Williams is saying is that they definitely are still pursuing a signed and sealed coalition, but no confirmation who those partners will be, and that there is the possibility of a multi-party mayoral committee executive, which is, of course, what they've opted for, as opposed to the other system that is open to metros, which is an executive committee, which is much more sort of representative, more broadly, of the way the council is made up. How would you describe the mood in Tshwane this afternoon, Govan?
The ANC doesn't appear surprised at their decision not to field a candidate. They seem more dejected and have a score to settle with the EFF. The EFF and ANC councillors here in council were calling each other all sorts of names even after the election happened unopposed. Does signal a lot of bad blood between the ANC and the EFF, and that's likely to continue in this council. Certainly no love lost here, but the DA very jubilant, as well as their former coalition partners, the Freedom Front Plus, the ACDP, and they say that they're very happy with this outcome, although they didn't expect it. Should point out, Sally, that even though the DA expected to win the Tshwane election for mayor and speaker and chief whip, they still walked away with an unexpected result, which was an election unopposed. So that would be 3 metros where the outcome was not what they expected, but at least in Tshwane, or in all 3 of them, it was what it worked in their favor.